Stakeholders within the transport sector calling on other key stakeholders to ensure there is good practice on the road to avoid road carnages that we have witnessed for the last 2 weeks or so that has seen over 20 people dead. And of course, the matter was exacerbated by the recent accident that involved Kenyatta University bus that led to the death of 11 students. We have that and so much more. Welcome to the program. My name is Abdiaziz. Hashim. My co-anchor at this hour is Brian Muraru. And we want to start on that particular note in regards to stakeholders from the transport sector calling for remedial measures. We'll be giving you that particular story in just a bit. But for now, we need to start at State House Nairobi, where the fourth medium-term plan targets to expand the Kenyan economy by 7.2% in 3 years' time. The document launched today seeks to enhance prudent use of national resources, with President William Ruto directing institutions charged with dealing with corruption to enhance their systems to counter pilferages and wastage of public resources. The fourth medium-term plan captures the aspirations of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
The MTV4 that you are launching today has incorporated the government's priorities in all sectors of the economy as espoused by the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. I therefore urge all the accounting officers to ensure timely implementation of priorities that fall within their respective documents.
It is going to be the framework for engagement with our international partners and friends, with the citizens of Kenya, with our friends and partners, and it also provides the broad framework to engage with the private sector here and beyond.
The government will focus on taming the cost of living through prudent monetary policy to attain an inflation target of 5.0%. So far, in the latest data, we're at 6.3%.
I am very clear in my mind that we have what it takes to take Kenya to the next level. We have the requisite resources, if properly applied, if properly used with integrity, to move our country to the next level. What we witness every time, in some instances, corruption is budgeted into our budget cycle. People budget things that they know will not go to the people of Kenya. I will be spending time tomorrow with our treasury to make sure that with a tooth comb, we eliminate anything that will not go to benefit the people of Kenya in our budget. And that our budget is going to be an instrument for the delivery of our plan for the benefit of the people of Kenya and to provide inclusive growth.
That eagle flying high.
Now to our top story this afternoon is that stakeholders in the transport sector are calling for accountability and proactive approach to the increasing road carnage in the country. The latest is the Kenyatta University bus accident that claimed the lives of 11 students and injured many others in Maungu Voi along the Nairobi-Mombasa highway.
Kenyatta University Secretary General Boniface Ododa called for action to address the state of roads in the country, terming it as a major factor in the fatal accidents.
I'd like to encourage the government of Kenya to ensure that there is safety in the roads, to mend the roads that have not been constructed well. The road's condition is very poor. It is too slim that two vehicles cannot overtake each other.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Road Safety Association, David Kiarie, is calling for accountability in the face of rising road carnage.
Jambo ambalo linastahili kufanywa sasa ni magari yote ya shule, marori, gari zote za tour, zote zihakikishwe zimepewa 3 months, ziwe zimerudi inspection.
Speed Governors and Road Safety Association Chair Edward Gitonga emphasized the need for strict enforcement of speed limiting rules for all public service vehicles, including school buses and trucks, while also advocating for thorough inspections of all trucks.
And we must now come to terms that the speed of the vehicles must be limited, especially the PSV vehicles.
You are telling NTSA, please allow us. Let us have all this recall program. let us do the right thing. And the right thing is let the vehicles go for inspection.
Joan Junge for Lunchtime News.
And in other news, a parent in Baringo Boys High School in Eldama Ravine Sub-County is seeking justice for his son. William Cheriot says his son, a Form 3 student at the school, was allegedly tortured by teachers and coerced into admitting to a crime he did not commit. Cheriot says his son is being profiled by the teachers since he comes from Elgeyo Marakwet County, a region synonymous with banditry. The Form 3 student is accused of stealing textbooks in the school.
These bruises on this Form 3 student's body from Baringo Boys High School in Eldama Ravine Sub-County tell a painful story. His father, William Cheriot, says his son's bruises are a result of corporal punishment by his teachers for a crime his father insists he did not commit.
To find that my son was implicated, I was not informed, and the child underwent a lot of torture, because he was tortured for 2 consecutive days.
According to his father, the Form 3 student was forced to kneel for 7 hours and was physically assaulted while being forced to admit he had stolen textbooks.
He was beaten, tortured, and coerced to accept that he was part of the team.
Cheriot alleges that his son was unfairly profiled since he comes from Elgeyo Marakwet County, a region associated with banditry.
And what is shocking me as a parent so much is on the first day of the torture, he was asked, "Where do you come from?" The boy said he comes from Marakwet. Then he profiled the boy as a bandit.
The matter has been reported to the police, with Eldama Ravine Sub-County Commander Joseph Onganya confirming the incident. Joan Junge for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, police in Meru County are holding a man believed to have been posing as a lawyer and offering services to unsuspecting residents. Michael Kungu Kigia is alleged to have never attended any law school, yet he was posing as a practicing advocate.
Speaking in Meru County, LSK Chairman Mount Kenya Region, Joel Mutuma, stated that the suspect has never attended any law classes, cautioning residents to be extra careful while seeking the services of an advocate.
And this is also a warning to all the other masqueraders who are purporting to represent parties and swindle them, by trying to draw pleadings or documents that are to be filed in court, that we will not relent on this fight of ensuring that our members of public are not hoodwinked.
He urged the judiciary to deal ruthlessly with such impersonators, as they are the ones tarnishing the practice.
He was very adamant in court, and even taunting advocates, telling them he'll teach them the law. And you can imagine that's a lay person who is that brazen and that brave enough to come and try and attempt to take away the work that can only be done by an advocate.
The region's advocates commended the DCI officers for his arrest, pledging to report any cases of quack advocates. Lucy Kamau for Lunchtime News.
Ecopreneur Dr. Isaac Kalua is challenging the government to be more serious with the call to plant trees across the country if it is to reach its target of 15 billion trees by 2032. Now, according to Dr. Kalua, the president cannot follow up on his directives if people tasked with implementing them are not keen on doing so. Now, Kalua, who spoke during a tree planting exercise to mark this year's International Day of Forest under the theme Forest and Innovation, New Solutions for a Better World, said it was unfortunate that the country has not consistently heeded the calls of tree planting even after lobbying by the government consecutively. Now, through his Green Africa Foundation, Dr. Kalua has called for the adoption of a Plant Your Age campaign, which will generally see more trees planted.
We are training the communities in a very practical way about how they can grow trees around their homesteads, the land use processes, the growing trees amongst the animals that you have at home, so that the result is very clear of improving the soil, because we are losing our soils. When President Ruto started the process of planting billions of trees in the country, he did one very simple, innovative thing. He planted 56 trees, which was a celebration of the number of years that he has lived. 56 trees, he kept it easy. Why complicate life thereafter?
Elsewhere, residents of Tumoyot in Sigowet, Soin sub-county, Kericho County, have faulted the Kericho County government for allegedly excavating a road and leaving it impassable. The irate residents said the rocky road was excavated by a contractor and left impassable for almost a month now. According to the residents, transport at the 4.8-kilometer road stretching from Sisinoik at Tomboyat has been paralyzed, with the preparations for maize planting season beckoning. The residents have raised fears that it will be a daunting task for them to transport farm inputs.
Tinga ililima na ikatoka. Sasa imekwisha, mwezi mmoja imekwisha.
Ni msimu na mawe ni shida kubwa sana, hata umeona. Amba serikali atusaidie.
Sisi tuko serikali gani? Na alichimba barabara na akaharibu tena.
Other news, residents and public institutions in Maragua, Murang'a County are set to benefit from water connection after the completion of construction of the Maragua Dam in 2023, which costed the taxpayers 1 billion shillings. The dam, with a capacity to produce 860,000 cubic meters of water daily, is expected to reduce the challenge of water shortage in the sub-county. Now, Murang'a Water Sanitation Company will be responsible for the distribution of water across the county. Now, more than 1,000 homesteads have been connected to the water grid in the last month. They target to have more than 20,000 homes connected with clean water by June this year.
Tangu museme Muasco ichukue maji, sisi tumetosheka. Na wacha hiyo kampuni hiyo inaitwa Muasco iendelee na kutupea maji. Sasa hii tumeona tofauti kubwa sana. Kuna kampuni zilikuwa zinakuja hapo bereni. Sisi tulikuwa tunakaa wiki mbili bila maji. Hii Muasco inatupea maji kila siku, maji mingi.
Tulikuwa tunakosa maji wiki mbili, wiki tatu, mpaka tunaenda kusota maji Githaja. Na Githaja imechanganya na nini? Na siweji. Sasa unajikuna, ukifua nguo, ukivaa hiyo nguo unajikuna. Lakini siku hizi tuko gagara kabisa.
Tension is high at Chepchoina settlement scheme along Trans Nzoia, West Pokot County, following allegations of massive land grabbing. Now, Kepenguria Member of Parliament Samuel Moroto is among the latest victims after his 15-acre piece of land was allegedly taken over by unknown people suspected to be part of a land cartel operating in the area. The legislator lamented the prevalence of illegal land transactions allegedly facilitated by well-connected brokers and corrupt officials from the Ministry of Lands.
Watu wanakuja, mtu anakuja na hapa tu ni Trans Nzoia ndio nasimamia kila kitu. Ukipeleka nini ile search, unaambiwa bado kuna deni, lipa, unalipa yote. Na baadaye unapata kwamba mwingine anakuja anasema hata hii ni yangu.
2020 kuanzia 2020 hapo ukora imetokea hapa kabisa. Leo tushangaa sasa wanachukua ya mheshimiwa na sisi sasa hapo Nyadu na kwa sasa wanienda. Tutafanyaje?
Tunaomba viongozi ya Trans Nzoia kama anatembea aingilie hii kati ya hii maneno.
Now, the government has embarked on an exercise to streamline the private recruitment agencies PRA sector that has had challenges before. Speaking in Garissa during an official tour, Labour and Skills Development Principal Secretary, that is Shadrach Modime, said the government has put in place a vetting committee with a view of addressing the challenges bedeviling the sector. He said the move was deliberate to stop the exploitation of recruits by some rogue agencies.
We have put in place a vetting committee that is comprised of various security agencies. Out of 1,000 PRAs that we had about a year ago, we've reduced them to 500, nearly 500, 50%. And this is deliberate because we don't want our young people to be exploited negatively. One way of assuring our young people that the program that we have is secure is we advise them to access the National Employment Authority website. Those PRAs that are in red ink should be avoided as much as possible.
Now, poor oral hygiene, especially among children, has been identified as a major challenge in Kisii County. Speaking at Kisii Children's Home at Jogoo, Dr. Sarah Bodo, a dentist surgeon, attributed the infections to failure by parents to teach their children the importance of good oral hygiene. She has challenged residents to embrace regular dental checkups and called for regular sensitization on the importance of good oral hygiene for both children and adults. She spoke as the county marked World Health Oral Day yesterday.
The prevalence is quite high. Actually, 1 in every 3 adults has ever had tooth extraction or caries cavity. And when it comes to children, for children it's even worse because it's almost at 50% of all the children that we have. So you can imagine if you have maybe 10 children in a room, 5 of them have active caries cavities. The most important time to brush teeth, both for children and for adults, is in the evening before you go to bed. When you've already eaten the whole day, at least brush your teeth so that you go to bed with a healthy mouth, with a clean mouth.
A project dubbed Kilimo Shuleni has seen students at Idamat Boys Secondary School in Kajiado County celebrate their first bumper harvest of maize and beans in their pilot crop farming project. The project, initiated by a local supermarket, seeks to support the school feeding program and provide an opportunity for parents who work in the farms to raise school fees for their children. Besides supporting nutrition in the school, the project also provides an opportunity for locals to learn best farming practices.
Pia kwa upande mwingine, chakula shuleni, ile pesa ambayo tunatumia kununua chakula sasa itapungua kwa sababu chakula ambacho tunapata hapa kimesaidia.
Vile vile wanafunzi waliweza kusomeshwa mbinu za ukulima kupitia project hii.
I think this was a pilot and we're very happy with the results. Kwa hivyo sasa it's to scale it and ensure that more schools benefit from similar projects.
Now, a section of community health promoters in Kiambu County have expressed their concerns over delayed stipends by the Ministry of Health. In a rejoinder, Health Principal Secretary, that is Hari Kimtai, says that 24 counties have not submitted the list of their community health promoters, leading to the delay. He added that those whose names have been forwarded to the Ministry of Health will receive their stipends by the end of March.
Makofi tafadhali. Makofi CHPs tafadhali.
According to us, that is the position. Doctors, I think if they honor their part of the negotiations, they also need to call off the strike and come to the table as directed by the court. Because it is when we discuss, is when we shall solve those issues. But if they continue striking, then that means that we are not going to solve the issues. Because we need to listen to them, we need to know their side. But we have already started meeting part of their bargain.
And now to a special feature this afternoon. We want to focus on the military tales prepared by Bentro Njue, who had a sit down with one of the veterans. Let's get to listen the story of that veteran.
Martin Asiani Orosia reported to Moi Air Base Isili in October of 1984 as a cadet.
Then after the cadet training in 1985 in November, now we were posted to our units. And my unit was Moi Air Base.
Orosia later on went for a series of training, including an overseas engineering training in the United Kingdom at the Royal Air Force in 1990.
We were being trained on this aviation training on maintenance of aircraft and the related equipment, how to maintain an aircraft, how to maintain the accessories like engines, electrical systems, and all that.
Back at Moi Air Base at the tail end of 1990, he was in charge of maintaining all the serviceable aircrafts when there arose a challenge in the Air Force.
Many aircraft were grounded. That means were moved from flight because of some defect. The manufacturer, who are the Germans, were requested to recover it for Air Force. They said no. They have stopped operating or maintaining or supporting Donia aircrafts. And even the supporting firms in Germany had closed shop.
The Donia aircrafts were specialized aircrafts that were designed and modified to be used in containing armyworms and other invading insects.
In 1992-93, that period there, they had armyworms in Cabernet. And they had invaded the CNC's, the President's farm.
The aircrafts could fly low and very close to the ground and had tanks that would be filled with a chemical that would be sprayed on large farms covering massive areas.
And I understand this system came under the Ministry of Agriculture, but they didn't have any aircraft in their ministry. So the only other government entity that had that facility was the Air Force.
The aircrafts had to be prepared for flying by the technical wing at the Moi Air Base, led by Martin Orosia.
I took up the challenge, studied the Donia aircraft manuals to the level that I could be able now to understand how this system works. Got my team together, then we embarked on the recovery program. So we recovered it, the first one. We certified the aircraft fit for flight. For that time, became the experts for Donia at that time.
Orosia also went to Yugoslavia and Morocco as a military observer.
During our patrol time, we could see some activities across the border in the Yugoslavia part. We were in the Macedonia part. Part of our work is observing what we see, any military activities. So that will reinforce the information and the system head that things were not well in Macedonia. So the UN mission stopped there, ended there in February. So we were going to pull out. In Morocco, now the Western Sahara had broken off from Morocco, wanted to become independent. Our observer part was to make sure that the Moroccans are not going to invade the Polisario people, neither should the Polisario people attack the Moroccans.
Between 2001 and 2008, Orosia served as the commanding officer in charge of the technical wing over the maintenance unit.
Now, being in charge of all the aircraft in Moi Air Base and all those people that relate to those aircraft.
Orosia also worked briefly in logistics until his retirement.
Now, there, my work was in charge of
And of course, there you have it. That is one of our veterans. And of course, we celebrate them and the men and women who continue fighting for our country within and without our borders. Also, we're keeping an eye at this hour on the talks that are happening at Afia House. We'll duly inform you on that. We do understand that the Ministry of Health is currently meeting with a section of the interns. You do know that this is the bone of contention that has seen the doctor strike, which is currently entering its 8th day. But before that, a section of candidates in the ongoing Institution of Engineers of Kenya IEK elections are now calling for the cancellation of the whole exercise altogether and a fresh one conducted. Engineer Butichi Hamisi, who is eyeing the first vice president position, claimed there was a massive irregularities in the voting system. Sentiments echoed by immediate former Institution of Engineers of Kenya President Engineer Nathaniel Matalanga, who called for the urgent systems audit. Over 2,388 engineers are expected to vote. The engineers were voting on a digital platform.
So don't win, we have time. Not to be free and fair. Whoever wins, whoever is declared as the winner, then he'll not be a credible leader. We want to have credible leaders who have been brought in by a pure system that is not interfered with. Whoever wins, even if I win, then the faith of the members will not be 100% in what I got.
After every election, we subject the process to an audit. And this process at 6 p.m. can immediately be audited by people who are competent to tell us that there was no external interference with the voting. If those people come up and say there was interference, then of course we have several days before the AGM for the process to be repeated.
Thousands of students from needy families in Mavoko constituency have benefited from bursaries worth 60 million shillings. The exercise saw many students in the constituency who had been sent home for fees to go back to school. 11,500 students in secondary, college and universities have benefited from the funds. Athi River Ward MCA Jeremiah Kaloi, who hailed the exercise, also gifted the qualified students to go to the university with laptops.
Atapata cheki yake, na tumesema kila mzazi yule ameapply, uwe Mjaluo, Mkamba, Mkikuyu, kabila yote ya Kenya lazima upate. Uwe Mkristo, uwe Muislamu, uwe Muhindi, lazima upate.
Kila wakati wazazi wanapiga simu wakisema, "Mheshimiwa, school fees, mheshimiwa, mtoto amefukuzwa." Yangu ni kukushukuru kuleta 11 million kuwapatia kama bursary. Hawa wazazi hawatakusahau.
Now, in the line with embracing digital media, the Media Council of Kenya, the Kilifi County Government and Mauno Space have launched a new media and digital content creation center. The space aims to support journalists and content creators in the area, nurture talent and refrain from fake news through promoting collaboration.
New dawn has arrived in Kilifi County with the launch of the new Media and Content Creation Center. This sets the stage to provide a functional working area for journalists and content creators to collaborate and generate content at no cost.
Kwa journalists, ile kazi ambao mnafanya ni kazi ngumu. Na especially, Bwana Moya, I can assure you, the ones who work here in Kilifi, I think have the hardest time. In all of Kenya. They need even more support. Because Kilifi by itself is so vast. I could drive for 4 hours and still be in Kilifi County.
Kilifi County Assembly Speaker Teddy Mwambire and MCK Programs Manager Victor Bwire recognized the importance of the center in addressing challenges faced by journalists and digital content creators in disseminating content.
Kwanza, ili wanahabari wakapata sehemu ya kufanyia kazi yao bila vitisho na bila matatizo, kwa maana kuenda kwamba unafanya story yako pengine chini ya mnazi, chini ya mbuyu ama kwenye mikahawa pale inahatarisha kidogo.
Rafungutusi, Lunchtime News.
Now, of course, on that particular note, we'll be taking a short commercial break. And of course, this is the stories that we have lined up for you. We're also keeping an eye on the stories unfolding at Afya House. We do understand that MOH is currently having a meeting with a section of the interns with the doctor strike entering its 8th day. It is currently 28 minutes past the hour. Don't go too far.
The stage is set for an intriguing showcase of African talent as Kenya, Zimbabwe, Malawi and Zambia participate in a four-nation tournament set to be played between March 21st to 26th in Lilongwe, Malawi. Catch the action live on KBC Channel 1 as the four nations square it out ahead of the June 2026 World Cup qualifiers. All four nations will also field under-20 teams in the tournament. Live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
我们对半人马做方向所有波段的接收已经扩大到对打范围，但还是没有任何信息。
继续监督。是。把机器、设备都撤了吧。统帅，这套接收系统是我们刚刚建立起来的，
与我航空测控部门配合，为红岸基地的作战提供依据。
Hello, Reynaldo. What are you doing here? And who is this woman with you?
She's an old friend, and I just found her in the town square by sheer chance.
Is that so? In the town square?
She's only visiting for a few weeks. I just ran into her, but I'm leaving now. I believe that there's a problem. Well, what's the problem? They counted the boxes several times, and it doesn't match with what's on the inventory. Alonso ended our partnership.
What? What did you say?
You and I can never be together again. Not anymore. It will never happen again.
You can't see how much I love you and that I'm dying of jealousy every day because you're getting married to somebody else.
Does that mean that there's still a chance that you could forgive me for all the things that I've done before?
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, dairy farmers in Githunguri, Kiambu County are calling for the implementation of measures that will help reduce the cost of animal feed. The farmers who spoke during Githunguri Dairy Cooperative's annual general meeting also voiced their concerns about the quality of animal feed that they say is affecting milk production.
Tungeuliza serikali ituagusie kodi sana sana ya wakulima. Juu wakulima ile kitu wanapata kwa ng'ombe wakipeleka tena, tukienda kwa bank inakatiwa kodi na tena kwa chakula tunakatiwa kodi. Sasa tungeuliza watu consider sisi kama wakulima ndio sasa hii kodi iende chini.
Kuna mpango wa kujenga aggregation center ya maneno ya parachichi, yani avocados.
Recently we were able to get into partnership with the institutions that were able to give us subsidized funds so that we can lend to our members. A combination of all this has made sure we remain resilient in growing Githunguri Dairy Circle.
Now, of course, we also want to focus on another special feature we have prepared for you this afternoon. It's about the silage formation. Let's get to know how the process goes in formation of the silage.
Currently, dairy farmers with high-yielding breeds get between 17 litres to 40 litres of milk per day with silage. How is this possible? Technology is enabling them to get quality feeds and make their storage easier. This is silage bale wrapping. Silage is a modern way of farming that is high yielding. The silage is wrapped in quality material to guarantee freshness, a process that happens in minutes.
As we see here, we are doing silage baling. That is silage packaging. Our silage baling, we bale in a capacity of 350 kilos per bale. And it is a maize corn silage.
Abdiaziz is one of the proprietors supplying farmers with this technology. After maturity of the maize plant and consequent harvesting, a pit is dug and filled to the brim with chopped maize plants into a lump known as a bunker. Then a tractor scoops preserved silage from the bunker and loads it into this balling machine. This machine scoops silage from its intake, measures and shifts the silage, packs it into huge rolls, wraps them using special high-quality polythene paper, and finally rolls it to the ground.
You see now the material also is imported. Of course, everything here is imported, but we are bringing this technology also to Kenyans so that they can improve.
Through this computerized control unit, this machine can package silage that has already been done in pits or direct from the farms. The machine's control unit is in charge of all the commands necessary for the operations of the process. The ready silage bales are kept at a safe corner, ready for transport to various locations depending on orders from dairy farmers.
We are advising farmers when we are feeding our dairy cows. Yeah, we also advise on the balanced ration, where silage, dairy meal, and other supplements are important.
Unlike previously, when silage was made manually or using makeshift machines and would be affected by heat, bad weather, poor storage, leading to spoilage, baled silage can last for over 2 years in good state.
And also the storage. That bale can stay there up to 2 years. Without any damage, without any loss, without any rotten silage, and it is also portable. You can take from one place to another.
The baling machine packs the silage in bales weighing between 350 and 400 kg. According to silage experts, the bale wrapping system was introduced in the mid-1980s. Wrapping silage is already practiced in several developed countries like the Netherlands, where it has helped farmers feed their herds in an easy and cost-effective manner.
Agricultural technology has reached levels where farmers are able to reduce costs and losses just by inputting a bit of innovation. For example, wrapping the silage before reaching the cows by eliminating the oxygen that makes the silage rot or become oversized. Alan Oko, Tech One.
Thank you, Alan. Now, the Cooperative University has rolled out an online platform that seeks to connect farmers with all value chain players and assist them in accessing markets. The digital platform will also help farmers with modern farming tips in a bid to boost their yields. Cooperative University Vice Chancellor Kamau Ngamau says that the system is a collaboration between the university and the African Development Bank.
The server that will be hosted by the Cooperative University under a 3-year Kenya Rural Transformation Center's digital platform project plans to put farmers in a single electronic ecosystem and connect them with all actors along the agricultural sector's value chain.
You need to get a platform where you can be able to access seed which is quality seed, which is certified, which is reliable. And so this platform will give the farmer that opportunity. That is in terms of input.
It will be very easy now to provide the required inputs to the farmer.
The server will host farmers in the counties of Nakuru, Baringo and Narok, will focus on maize, Irish potatoes and dairy value chains.
Our farmers do Irish potatoes around the Maravin area and the islands of Baringo, the Tuken series. Yes, they do the potatoes. Dairy is really quite a large sector in Baringo, together with also maize. Who doesn't eat ugali? We all eat ugali.
Cooperative University Vice Chancellor Kamau Ngamau is urging cooperative societies to digitize their services, to access the platform so as to increase their earnings by linking them directly to the markets.
One of the biggest problems, and you had this when we had the quail, everybody had that the quail are very good, you get a lot of money from all this, and everybody went into quail. And by the time they all had quail, there was no more market. So this is to address the issue of market.
The new platform is also expected to help reduce post-harvest losses due to the provision of timely market information. Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Now, Cooperative Bank Group has reported 23.2 billion shillings in 2023 full-year net profit, representing a 5.5% year-on-year growth. The profit was driven by a 10.3% growth in net loans and advances to Kenya shillings 374.2 billion. Now, the lender has proposed a dividend payout of 1 shillings and 50 cents per share, which will see Cooperative Bank paying out 8.8 billion shillings.
Cooperative Bank says in 2023, customer deposits increased by 6.6% to 451.6 billion shillings. Net loans and advances increased from 339.4 billion shillings to 374.2 billion shillings. This powered up the total operating income from 71.3 billion shillings to 71.7 billion shillings. Net interest income marginally reduced to 45.2 billion as compared to 45.5 billion shillings registered in 2022. In addition, total non-interest income increased from 25.7 billion shillings to 26.5 billion shillings. On the other hand, total operating expenses decreased 6.1% to 39.7 billion shillings in what the lender attributes to a critical focus on cost management. This helped power the lender's full-year net profit to 23.2 billion shillings, up from 22 billion shillings reported in 2022. Following the profit increase, the lender has proposed a dividend payout of 1 shilling and 50 cents per share. This will see Cooperative Bank paying out a total of 8.8 billion shillings to shareholders as dividends. Frederick Moki for Lunchtime News.
The Kenya Wine Agencies Limited has rolled out a 3-year culinary training targeting the youth in Mkuru informal settlements in Nairobi County. Inua is a vocational training program targeting the youth from informal settlements with the skills needed in the hospitality industry value chain. Here are the details of this and other stories in our corporate briefs. And of course, we'll be bringing you that particular story in just a few. Let's take another one where Malawi's official foreign exchange reserves have continued to fluctuate since November last year when Malawi clinched the 4-year International Monetary Fund extended credit facility. The Reserve Bank of Malawi has attributed the situation to the mismatch between the supply and demand of forex despite improved donor inflows. RBM figures show that official forex reserves have dropped to $143 in millions, that is million US dollars of import to cover at the end of February.
The extended credit facility unlocked several grants from development partners. However, in its latest biannual Malawi Economic Monitor, the World Bank acknowledged that the ECF program has not helped to improve the country's foreign reserves challenges, calling for sustainable measures such as unlocking the full potential in key priority areas of mining, tourism, and agriculture. The bank further observed that the country is set to make significant moves towards industrializing the sectors that require significant private and public sector investments, warning that failure to make strides in exploiting these priority sectors will continue to dampen meaningful growth which is required to reduce poverty levels. Elsewhere, the 266 billion naira spent by the federal government of Nigeria on agricultural research institutes in the last 5 years may have failed to improve farmers' output as low yield per hectare of most food and cash crops persists. Farmers and analysts have attributed the lack of results from the research institutes to corruption inadequate funding, poor government policies, and lack of a proper distribution chain from the Research Institute to farmers. In a bid to tackle food insecurity and improve food production, the federal government has created several agri-research institutes mandated for special crops to help in the production of quality seeds and improve technologies to boost farmers' productivity and improve the lives of rural communities. Finally, China is seeking to cement its position as the leading source of investment in Tanzania, with at least 60 Chinese firms lined up for a fact-finding mission to the country. By October 2022, the Asian economic giant accounted for 1,098 investment projects worth $9.6 billion USD in Tanzania. The Sinotan Industrial Park in Kibaha Coast Region, a Chinese investment, is expected to create approximately 600,000 indirect jobs for Tanzanians upon its completion in 2027. The opportunity is set further to boost investment and trade for Tanzanians, and local companies are being called upon to grab the opportunity that could as well offer markets for local products in China.
Now to some unfortunate news where one person was killed and several others injured after unknown assailants armed with machetes and other crude weapons invaded homestays in Kitengela along the Kajiado-Machakos border. It is reported that a hired gang attacked at around 1 a.m. on Thursday, robbed residents, destroyed property and warned them to evacuate the land. The houses are situated 2 kilometers from the populous Kitengela town. It took the intervention of KDF officers at a nearby camp to repulse the thugs in an incident that resulted in the death of one of the suspected assailants. The attackers are reported to have arrived using motorcycles and Nissan Matatu. In Athi River South, police boss, that is Jos Mudavadi, says police have launched investigations into the incident.
Ile damage tumepata, kuna mzee amejeruhiwa wa hizi maboma zetu na tukamkimbisha hospitali, bado wako hospitali. Watu watatu, mama na wazee wawili, wamepata majeraha, wako huko kwa hospitali, tuliwapeleka usiku.
Wafamizi walikuja vijana 45, 45 of them walikuwa na pikipiki, walikuwa na gari ya Nissan 14 sita. Hivyo basi ndipo wakaweza kutawanyika kwa hizo maboma ambazo ziko.
And now let's get sporty, and we want to start here in the continent where Kenyan athletes added 3 more gold medals to their medal tally at the ongoing 13th edition of the African Games in Accra, Ghana, after Mary Mora, Aaron Chemwingwe and Beatrice Chepkoech won their respective races to improve Kenya's standing medal in that particular retrospect. Now Kenya now lies 11th in the standings with the 20 medals, 4 gold and 5 silver.
In the 400 meters women's final, World 800 meters champion Mary Mora cruised to victory in 50.57 seconds ahead of Nigeria Esther Elo Joseph and Sita Subiri of Burundi.
But it's Mary Mora. She's way gone. Way gone. Mary Mora, African Games champion. The Kenyan are up.
World 3,000 meter steeplechase record holder Beatrice Chepkoech struck the 3rd gold for Kenya in the distance after clocking a game's record time of 9 minutes and 15.61 seconds. Peru's Jemutai of Uganda finished 2nd, with Ethiopia's Lomi Muleta wrapping up the podium. Kenya's Purity Kirui and Karen Chebet finished in 6th and 7th place respectively.
Sprinted to the finish line.
And I can tell you that time is a game's record. 9 minutes, 15.62 seconds.
Kenya wrapped up the day in style, bagging her 3rd medal through Aaron Kemei in the men's 800 meters. Kemei clocked 1 minute, 45.72 seconds to beat compatriot Alex Kipngetich to the 2nd spot. Botswana's Nkape Tumo finished third.
Oh, what is it? Cheminungwa against Keeping Getich.
Well, it looks like
The men's under-23 basketball team revived their hopes in the championship after winning 15-8 against Zambia in Pool D. Tonight, more medals are expecting the athletics, where Wiseman Were will be seeking to add Kenya's medal tally in the men's 400 meters hurdles, and Kenya's sole representative in the 10,000 meters race, Janet Chepngetich, expected to perform well too. Malkia strikers will also be in action against Gambia in the women's volleyball quarterfinals. The team has won all its previous matches and is expected to stretch their winning streak. The only Kenyan lady boxer, Amina Martha, will be in action in the women's 54-kilogram category against Nigeria's Karim Shukura. Nora Mwangi for Lunchtime News.
And congratulations are in order for athletes, and we wish the rest all the best as they continue with the African Games. Now, elsewhere, Stephen Curry made NBA history last night when his team Golden State Warriors defeated Memphis Grizzlies 137-116 at the Chase Center Arena. Now, Curry finished with 14 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block. During the game, Curry made his 300th three-pointer of the season. In other games, Clippers defeated Trailblazers 116-103, while Suns thrashed 76 years 115-102.
Improvement for him. Where's the biggest?
Just decision making a little bit.
Curry. G.G. Jackson. Diamond knocks it in. Draymond Green sees an opening, goes right at the Defensive Player of the Year. Her shot won't go, tip won't go, gets another rebound. Curry steps back and hits a 3.
Great shot. For them to kind of hang on and keep trying to do things the right way is impressive, and it's a testament to Taylor Jenkins.
G.G. 18-year-old, no hesitation there. As Curry off 1 foot, shot bounces around and drops through. Curry 8 points here in the first 8 minutes. Kuminga, nice fake, and Higgins is 3 for 3. Desmond Bain way outside. Decisions on when to shoot it. As it's going to alt the turnover. Kuminga again. Gets inside. This time with the in. Pajemski back in. Good to see Pajemski. Took a shot in the face early on as Curry knocked. G.G. Jackson lines it up. Back of the rim won't go. And Looney throws it ahead. Here's Spencer. Chance to score. And he throws it down.
Well, that marks the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Do join us in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. That is all we had in store for you. Of course, we're keeping an eye on what is happening at Afya House. Our reporter Joseph Ohungo will be informing you in our subsequent bulletins. And of course, with the government launching its medium term with the expected economic growth, that also will be prepared by none other than our very own senior business reporter, that is Kiptum, in the evening. Now, that marks the end. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. My co-anchor is Brian Muraru. And of course, you can also find more on our webpage at www.kbc.co.ke. Good afternoon for now, and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Watch the Mozartbet Cup as teams from both the top tier and low tier battle for the ultimate prize of representing the country in Africa's CAF Confederations Cup. Catch all the action live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, beginning with a round of 16 matches, the quarter-final, semi-final, and the final. Mozartbet Cup, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
And one thing about golf, especially when you are a career woman, is that it's the one thing that you can play on your own, also play it socially, and even as you play it socially, there are so many things that you get to solve.
For a long time, women could not visit this club. And I have done a paper on, it's called Challenges of, assimilating members who don't conform in codes.
One thing about golf is that it takes up time. You need like 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours to play.
Indeed, yeah.
So, balancing the role of being a mother, balancing a role of having a job can be a challenge.
But otherwise, it's fun. You get to interact with different personalities.
Kuna pale nataka uniokolee yake.
Na nini?
12,000.
Hiyo pesa mkitoa mnafanyia nini?
Get rich quick. Kwani kuna doza bwanako na zako?
It will never leave Christine for you. You can take that to the bank.
Our bond is almost unbreakable.
Kwa nini ulimnunulia ile nguo? Is that what got you worked up? Haya, mpatie. Well, I'm sure that originally belonged to Jen.
Sasa kama amepata mtu mwingine, si ni aseme tu, laini iwe fupi.
I have losses to count.
It is considered the holy book of Muslims. The Noble Quran was revealed over a period of 23 years during the ministry of Prophet Muhammad. As had been his custom, the Noble Prophet was worshipping in isolation in a cave at Mount Hira, separated from polytheistic practices of the Arab community at the time. Suddenly, an angel confronted him and commanded him to read.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Recite in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging substance. Recite, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen.
That is when the first verses of the Quran were ever taught to a human being. Prophet Muhammad then rushed home to his wife Khadija and narrated to her about the encounter.
Muhammad, peace be upon him, son of Abdullah, was then confirmed to be a prophet.
The Quran was revealed from Lawh al-Mahfuz, which means the well-preserved manuscript, and stored at Baitul Izzah, where Malaika Jibril or Angel Gabriel would pluck passages and teach them to the noble prophet. One may wonder why this process took years to complete.
So there are many reasons why the Quran was revealed in a period of 23 years, and the first main reason was because the Prophet Muhammad could not read and write. So it was revealed gradually to enable him to be able to memorize the Quran easily. It was revealed gradually in a period of 23 years as well, during the different periods of challenges and questions that would be addressed to the Prophet during his lifetime. So the revelations would be answers to the challenges and questions that were posed to him. So it was also revealed gradually in a period of 23 years to make it easy for the Ummah and the Prophet's followers to memorize and implement it.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala began, when he began in Makkah, Meccan verses,
They were on abstract issues, things to do with humanity, things which were very easy for every human being. And that's why many of the verses in Makkah were coming as Ya Ayyuhan Nas, all people. Allah was talking to people. But then when now the belief had already sunk in the hearts of people, that is when Quran started now saying Ya Ayyuhal Ladina Amanu, all you who believe. Some of the first verses of Quran was like Iqra, read. Because now it's a matter of trying to tell everyone that most important thing in this world is about reading. You realize that first it was all about the practices. Then now the matters of belief.
Certainly, a crash course on such an important book will definitely not suffice its purpose.
The teachings of this book continue to thrive through endurance of its majesty, sanctity and marvelous linguistic excellence. In fact, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once challenged the best Arab poets to tell the story of the elephants in better prose than the Quranic narration, just to prove the book's wonder.
When Prophet Muhammad came up with this story, some Arabs were laughing because they did not even remember the story. But the elders were saying, no, don't laugh. This guy actually is talking about something very important. And one of our Arab poets was saying Muhammad doesn't know anything. Prophet Muhammad told them, if you think that you can challenge my Holy Quran, the book of Allah, then come up with verses which are same as Quran. So many of them came up with many verses. And the greatest among the poets came with one, and he was talking about the elephant. So he said, an elephant, it has a very big trunk.